Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today I'm with a very special guest, the one and only Carter Wilson. Dude, it's been like a year and a half.
Yeah.
It's a long ass time.
It's been a productive time though.
Yeah.
You know? It's been a lot of shit going on, but I mean, it's like a cliche at this point.
When was the last? It was probably like back in like October of like a year and a half ago.
Oh, when we went out to the radio station?
Yeah. So we went out to the radio station, then we were hanging out for like a month or two. And we went to like I showed you guys like my favorite park and shit, you know, the Bellevue and all that.
And the PVB.
Yeah.
Shout out to Colin White.
And then I tried to reconnect with you it was around March. You started doing shows at Cafe Red or something like that. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Cafe Red.
How'd you start doing shows there?
Man, I want to say that was the first Ukulele Alive installation.
Okay.
That let me think. It's been so long. I mean, honestly, I think I did my album release party for the deluxe exclamation album, and that was kind of like one of the first examples of being able to get artists from Tacoma, artists from Seattle, you know, and any other surrounding areas, and having that be a mixed bill. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time we did the popcorn style of, you know, like do 2 songs at a time. And then so it kind of shuffled the night up. Because in my experience, people have come in and then, you know, they'll leave after their homie's done.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to figure out ways to mitigate that. So popcorn, you know?
Yeah.
Do 2 songs, next. 2 songs, next. And then you might see them again. They'll have like maybe 3 2-song sets. That kind of thing. So. Mm-hmm.
So when I went to one of those Cafe Red shows, there was like a bunch of artists. I had no idea who they were. Mm-hmm. Did you meet those? Had you met those artists before we even did our interview, or did like after we did our interview, were those just artists that you started meeting through whatever media or whatever?
I'm trying to remember. I think I was at work on the one that you went to, and I didn't get there till late in the night. But I think when was that? Like February or March or something?
It must have been February, I think.
February. Yeah, I mean, some of those artists were from Tacoma, so I think some of them I did meet afterwards. Okay. After we met at first. I wish I could see like the roster who was on that particular show, but it's honestly just throughout my times in Seattle and Tacoma and Olympia and living everywhere I've been out here. It's just a matter of like anybody I've got my eye on, and anybody who I've heard or had good energy or whatever. I always want to see what I can do to provide for others if I have the opportunity to book a show. You know, because a lot of artists, like, they think it's somebody else's job to book or somebody else's job to curate the events or whatever. So I'm like, if we bump shoulders or I came across your music or I fuck with you in general, I want to put you on in any kind of way I can. I don't have I'm not on yet. I don't have bread to do certain things, but I know I can do what I can do, which is find a place that can have us for free. You know, see what we can do as far as like actually having an event that makes like positive energy, you know?
Oh, yeah. And the last time I think you were working like at a zoo last time we were talking? Are you still working at a zoo?
No, my brother was working at the zoo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I was working at, I don't even know. I be switching jobs. I don't remember which job I was at the time.
Yeah.
But you know how it goes.
And you're still in Tacoma?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So how has COVID affected you guys so far?
I mean, we had to stop everything. We had like 4 more shows set up. I think the last show we did was March 8th. And so, we had another show set up for like the 13th, the 15th, April. We're going to go to California. Like, so everything had to get paused. And you know, we saw like there's live stream pivots and things like that. We just, you know, it didn't make sense for us to do that at the time just because organizing and making sure the quality was where we wanted it to be. Didn't want to rush into it in that kind of sense. So for me, I was just like, man, I have all this time all of a sudden. Because, you know, I told you this before, I just always am juggling everything that's going on. And so like my dream was always, how can I just, like I was always looking forward to just being an artist and not having to do anything else. Just focus on what I need to, like the projects, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And yeah, so eventually, not even eventually, like pretty quickly, I was like, all right, I have all this time, I can like settle down and like formulate my thoughts. And that's how the Weatherman came to be. And like, it's not even raining, and the whole concept. Because I can work and record and make art, but like having a, like, you know, framing it how I wanted it to be framed, that was what I had time for finally. So I was like, man, finally I can just organize and knock shit down like chunk by chunk.
Hell yeah.
And so now, fast forward, the project is done, the reception is crazy. It's like right where I wanted it to be. And that's only like the tip of the iceberg as far as like what else I've been working on. So I'm like, let's fucking get to it. You know what I'm saying?
And you have a third brother. Has he moved back with you guys at all? Or is he still in Boston, wherever he was? Philly.
But yeah, Perry's back. Perry mastered all my music.
Oh shit.
He's besides doing his own stuff, like he just decided to dive into audio engineering, and that's like is really perfect because I do my mixing and stuff, and he does the mastering. So it's like we can do same day, you know, turnaround for shit, which is dope as fuck.
Wow. Yeah, and I'm guessing you guys don't have to pay each other. You guys are just one big family, so it like works out better.
Yeah, we talk about that. It's all kind of comes when it comes, and we gonna be straight.
Hell yeah. So let's get into It's Not Even Raining.
Yes.
And then how do you even do that voice thing that you found? It was like, it's not even
raining. Yeah, that's a secret.
Okay.
No, but honestly, like it really was a matter of me sitting down and because I'm telling you, like I had so much, or I still have like so much music that I'm always making. And you know, I hear different like the last album was like 21 tracks. And different feedback, like, oh, it's too long, but it's good, but it's just too long. You're a new artist, people don't want to spend the time. I'm like, fuck that. I'm about to just I'm not gonna give you like 3-song tapes. That's not what I don't do that. So I'm like, the best way to really give you all the music and make you take your time with everything I do is I need to frame it in a way that makes sense. And it sort of really just came to me. I was just like at my desk and I was just like writing by hand, which is different because I don't usually do that. And I don't know where it came from, like as far as It's Not Even Raining, but I wrote it and it stuck. And I was like, all right. And then I just started being able to kind of use that to go back as like my rake through the music, and I could try to like figure out what makes more sense as far as the sound and the concepts and the themes and yeah, and like the overall concept, like even when I first had posted on Instagram about it, like talking about what was I saying? It was like your body's cold, but you're not cold. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So it's like it's raining, but it's not even raining. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's like a mindset kind
exactly. And so as a person who I'm not from up here. I'm from California. So I've always had my troubles during the rainy seasons, like the 9 out of 12 months of the year where it's fucking gray every day.
Fuck. Yeah.
And as I was looking back through all my shit I've made in Washington, these central themes of rain, umbrellas, you know, trying to actually like bring my own light to the equation when the sun won't do it for me. That was the kind of, I realized I was always on that same kind of concept. And so then, as I got into like just diving deeper into it, it just made more and more sense. Like this is the perfect way to kind of frame everything, but I can still yet build more on top of it because it's not like nothing changed. You know, I'm still out here doing the same shit I always been doing. So, It's Not Even Raining. Now it's like becoming a real, actual. I'm realizing other people have talked to me about it. Like, yo, that's on some other kind of shit. I can apply that to my own shit. Like not even through music, but just the mindset switch. And that part, I'm like, damn, you can identify and that can resonate with anybody. So it's powerful in that sense. And I'm like, that's, it kind of like feeds me in a way. Like I don't get money and shit like I would want at the moment, or, you know, clout.
It's not even money.
Exactly. No, for real. Like the currency is different now. So I'm like, if I sort of like made this like magic phrase, and now people can turn that on and be like, shit, I'm not broke. You know what I mean? I'm not depressed. I'm not fucking anxious. Like, flip the switch if you can. And it's not fucking as easy, obviously. It's not just like you can't just snap your fingers, but you can begin the process. And that part, I'm like, if I can help with that, I'm doing my job as an artist fully. Don't worry, but I'm not tripping about nothing else around it. I just make the work. It's framed this way. And if it means something to you, and that's the ultimate goal. That's dope.
Hell yeah. So do you kind of have like a collective you're working with now with like artists, or is it just like, because it seems like you've been pushing certain artists, or I'm blanking on every one of their names, which I apologize.
But honestly, it's through the same kind of process. Like, I always have my eye on artists, especially artists that have proper energy and that aren't trying to, you know how it is. But so I'm like, okay, how are you before somebody realizes what I can do or what somebody else can bring to the table for them? How do you act? How do you engage? How do you treat people? And so the artists that I feel good about working with are those kind of artists that are passionate, creative, but also like selfless and understanding of the power of just like giving yourself to the ecosystem of artists. You know what I mean? Like, being aware of like your role that you can play, not as a gatekeeper or, you know, an arbiter of culture or anything like that, but, you know, you have whether it's some new game that you picked up as far as like how to release stuff or just like having your space available for artists to collaborate, things like that. Like, that's huge to me. So artists like Astral Trap, artists like Scully Vega.
Yeah, I remember Scully Vega. I think I met him.
Yeah. But that's really, I mean, like, at this point, I'm really like not like in a crew or a clique or a group or nothing like that. It's just like my brothers. We work closely because we're, you know, proximity, and we're brothers. And then yeah, like the other artists, like I really do fuck with them, honestly, just because they are. I know what a lot of them can do when they have the resources, as far as executing like the utmost vision of what they want to do. And so I really believe in it. So I know that I'm going to do what I can to help make that happen for them, you know, in whatever capacity.
Yeah. Colin White, when we first started hanging out with him, I was just excited to like have a podcast and start meeting artists because I didn't know anyone at all. And like, he like, one of the first things he told me was, make sure that they're giving as much effort as you're giving as effort to them, you know, like Face Stoffa, for example. Like, I think he's a cool guy for sure, but I feel like in my mind I was hyping him up to be like the best thing ever because he was like my first guest. But then Colin was like, when we're going to these events or doing whatever and we bring Face Stoffa along, he's kind of just on his phone in the corner, not engaging until we're talking to him. Or he's not saying, oh, let's go to this event. We're the one who's giving him all the resources. So I thought that was, I think I especially like learned more about it when the quarantine hit, and then only like certain artists would reach back out, you know, things like that. So I don't know, like, what are your opinions of Face Stoffa? Like, have you invited him to that event? I thought that was cool. But do you see that with not just Face Stoffa, just in artists in general, that there's not equal give and take, and how do you deal with that?
Face Stoffa, I honestly, I wasn't even at that show, but I did put him on that. I think anytime when the line is kind of blurred between like social, hanging out, and art, it's expectations are gonna be weird because everybody's different as far as like, especially artists. Like for myself, I'm not gonna be the person at the function who's gonna be bouncing around meeting everybody. Like, I'm not, that would just feel like I was performing, or I was, you know what I mean? Like I was doing too much. That's not like me. But I remember when I met Face Stoffa, he's cool. He's not like on some weird shit. So that's why I felt cool about putting him on the show and to begin with. But in general, I think we all would like reciprocity across the board in whatever we do, but expecting reciprocity is where we can get into trouble. When I say that, I'm talking about like for me, I do a lot of things just clearly I don't expect anything in return. If you do something in return, that's cool, and I'll remember it, but I don't expect anything. The things I do for others is just literally because I zoom out and I look at, like, if I was that other person and I don't know, I just see myself in them and like, what can I do to help? Yeah. That's literally like the root of it. And that gets me in trouble. Like, people tell me don't take free work, you're doing too much for people all the time. And that, I mean, that does happen, but I don't ever regret what I give. So giving without expectation of reciprocity, that's huge. That's like even with the art, like that's like me giving of myself. If it results in people fucking with it and wanting to give me money for it, I'll take it. But the ultimate, like, the thing I get is like me zooming out and realizing that I was able to actually contribute my piece to this ultimate puzzle that we're all a part of, because that's what it is. And the moment people zoom in and start getting egotistical about, what I should get, and me, that's when things become a problem. Because it's not, like in the wild, animals don't last that long with that kind of mentality.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I've been just like figuring out, like, because sometimes I go in like just working mode, whether it's podcast or whatever it is. And then I look back and it's been like 3 months down the road, and I'm like, hey, none of these artists have reached back out to me after I've helped them out or anything like that. Not even in a way like, oh, I want to give something to you. Just I feel like not even a hello, checking in on me, even though I did this for you. But I feel like you can't really expect that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the same time, do take note of that, because that's like for your future navigation. Like, you don't nobody likes to be around people that just take and don't give. And it's, it just brings energy down, and it's not real. And it's because the moment, I already said this before when we first met, like, you're on the trajectory, you're going to be fucking the face of the whole city, bro. Like, as far as radio goes, because you have the passion for it and you execute. The moment it turns around and people are talking about it without them, like without the artist bringing you up, but somebody else bringing you up because they, heard about you, then they'll flip the switch and be like, oh yeah, Blake, da-da-da. So then that's for you. You had your notes. You already know, like, oh, okay. Yeah. that's going on. So it's just people expose themselves in certain ways. Now you got to just let it happen.
Yeah.
Because you can't control it.
That makes sense. Yeah. Very true.
It can be frustrating though in the moment, like day to day, because it's like, come on, bro. Yeah. Like, because at the same time there'll be people that be complaining about the media, complaining about lack of attention, complaining about other shit that's out of their hands. But again, what are you bringing to the table besides besides making your art? What else? So,
there we go. So let's talk about this Weatherman project. But before the official Weatherman project, you had a trailer EP deal. I've never seen a project titled as a trailer, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
So let's break down that trailer first.
Well, I got that idea from Ellis. He did that first for Tuyi and Alelia, the EP. But yeah, I wanted to, like I said, like that was probably early on in COVID. So that was when I first was sitting down and like, okay, concepting and, planning things out. And I didn't know I was going to be pushing it back a year. So when it was originally going to be coming out, it was going to be like May last year. And I think like, I don't know, I just had so much more music. And I was like, I don't want to like rush the process because I don't need to, because I have all this time now. So I was like, let me just do this to kind of float me through, the next few months as I keep planning. So I was like, let me take 5, and then without giving too much of the whole tape away.
Mm-hmm.
And those 5 kind of like really were accidentally like big for me as far as like, so I hadn't really done that sound yet, especially like A Million Miles Away. I made that kind of just like to see what I could do with that kind of like singing type shit. But it turned out really well, and it got like on some Apple playlists and like some other shit, so that like got my numbers looking better, which helped facilitate certain other things like business wise, as far as like being like, yo, here's the 5 tracks, this is like the taste of it, and it's doing this, here's the whole thing, and that's just the prologue. You feel me? So yeah, like for me it helped just to break everything into pieces, so I could just have a little bit more guidance and clarity as I was making more stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I remember that you used to put all your songs on like a specific website. Are you still doing that? Or like as you continue to gain popularity, are you going to continue to do that also? Yeah.
Carter.land/music. Eventually it'll have everything since ever. Me and Perry just been going back and remastering, remixing older songs too that necessarily weren't, heard by a lot of people, because I was just like not putting it out in the proper way. So, but yeah, eventually, I mean, even right now, there's some up there, but eventually it'll have everything, and it'll have a way for people to be able to click and then listen to it, but also fill out a trip report. And so I kind of borrowed that from Arrowwood.com. And if you know about Arrowwood, do you know about that?
I do not.
Arrowwood.
I'm just shaking my head like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I think everybody who is interested in drugs should know about Arrowwood, because Arrowwood it's a research website, and it has trip reports, it has dictionaries, it has various things for people to learn about any kind of substance that they're going to be ingesting into their body. And so like, you can never tell somebody don't do drugs, but you can tell them be smart. And here's a resource to be smart. Arrowwood.com.
Like, do you know Hamilton Morris?
I don't.
Oh no.
What's that?
Hamilton Morris is like a chemist, and like he has a show on Viceland where he talks about like acid, shrooms, all the different psychedelics and stuff. And he was just on my favorite podcaster's podcast, Duncan Trussell. Do you know Duncan Trussell? Oh man. I'm disappointed. You don't know Hamilton Morris though?
No.
Do you watch Vice, like the TV?
I've heard of Vice. I just don't watch Vice.
Dude, I think you'd be into Vice. Vice is dope as fuck. It has like, it's the most indie shows you'll ever find. And like some of these shows, you're like, how the fuck is this on TV? You should definitely check that out. So are you the Weatherman, or is Weatherman also like a concept?
Weatherman's a concept. I'm not the Weatherman.
Okay.
The Weatherman is just the control mechanism itself. And so I guess I'll break the whole thing. So you have Ibugwans, which is like the snow globe, like everything is underneath, and within that, like the control center would be the Weatherman.
Okay.
And I, or me, the character, you, is just in it.
Okay.
And so as the album progresses, you're just looking for your way out of it, because you realize what's being like the weather, you know what I'm saying, it's just not real. You're realizing it's like the flakes are coming and it's paper type shit. You know, it's not real. It's not even raining, you know? So part of that, once the Weatherman is, once you like can transcend or transmute the Weatherman into your own control, you know what I mean? So it's like taking outside persuasion, taking it, and then like doing alchemy on it. So then it becomes your own persuasion. So that's what the main gist of it. That makes sense?
So what do you think of like actual weathermen then? I think they're fake as hell.
The actual weathermen? I don't know about them. It's not even about them. I mean, look, a meteorologist, that's a real, I can't tell a meteorologist. They're not real. It's more about the concept, because ultimately I want to make a whole, probably be like an anime or maybe live action, depending on whatever. But it's like kind of fantasy sci-fi, but conceptually and thematically based on some real shit.
So are you thinking of like the Matrix type deal? Like, do you think?
Yeah, that was part of a little bit in certain aspects, as far as like being a candidate and the one type shit. But it's different from the Matrix because it's not. I mean, honestly, there's potential for it to be something similar or of that scale, but at the moment, it's still in like early development phase. That's why I kind of kept it to just like the simple story of just getting out of the snow globe. So then, as the next few projects will demonstrate like what happens once you're out of the snow globe. You know what I mean? Like, so what does that mean?
Do you think the snow globe's like a warning then, or like just like you want people to realize that they can be in a snow globe or are in a snow globe?
Yeah, like definitely people can. You can call it a snow globe. You can call it a box. You can call it a
matrix.
A matrix. You know what I'm saying? There's lots of things that hold us in place, whether that's good or bad, or has positive or negative aspects to it. And if you can realize when that's happening and know that, like, damn, I'm dressing this way only because of this, or I'm talking like this only because of this, or my goal is this only because of this. You can kind of zoom out. That's what I encourage anybody to do. Zoom out and really look at what's going on for what it really is, and then see if that lines up with what you, in your truest intention and truest form of what you want to be doing in your body in this life. Is that really, does it line up? And anything that doesn't line up, cut it out. That's all.
And is this a newer mindset for you as well, or is this just something you've finally been able to explain on paper?
A little bit of both. Like, I can articulate it now, but it's something I've been doing my whole life. I'm realizing, just from moving so much, from just me learning how to deal with change, but me still being the anchor and things changing around me, and then me changing with things also. So it's kind of, I think now I'm in a place where I can share it and break it down so others can also tap into that same kind of mentality, which I think is cool. But at the same time, it's like, it's still changing for me every day as far as whatever's going on. How can I always try to stay as pure to my intention as possible, even with other kind of shit that's always happening,
So are you a guy that's like worried about like specific dates? Like, was this album released on a date that was special to you, or is it just like throw it up then?
Yeah. I mean, I had been trying to release it for a minute. So the date wasn't as the date was kind of, it changed.
Like the weather. But
exactly. Honestly, like the day it was weird because it released on the 10th and then the snowstorm happened. So it's kind of like how fortuitous. But maybe I may or may not have had a hand in that, But yeah, it's really not like 210. It'll just, I don't know. I didn't want to drop it on a Friday because everybody drops on the 12th. Also, as part of my thinking too. You get a head start as far as like playlist update on Friday or Thursday.
Yeah.
So little things as I'm learning, like how the industry goes and being strategic. Maybe we might see more Wednesday drops after this because having that Tuesday 9 p.m. as when it actually comes out, but then it doesn't actually drop till Friday. You get that first bump, and then you get the weekend bump. And then when you go to pitch it in the next week, you're saying, here's what it's done so far.
Yeah.
So a little shit like that.
Makes sense. And that was so funny. I was waiting for your hat to fall off all day. I love the hat, though.
Thank you.
And you got a haircut then. You used to have longer hair with blonde, right?
Yeah, a lot of changes.
Yeah.
No.
Mine's just been growing.
Yeah.
I can put into buns now, which is pretty nice.
Congratulations.
So my co-host for my second podcast, the BBC podcast, he's like into fucking angel stuff and spirit stuff, and like he's into that age of Aquarius thing. Or do you believe in that mindset that 2021 is the age of? Is it? Am I right? Age of Aquarius?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that so there's always going to be dates people say is when things are like actually changing and stuff like that. But I think that it's more of a transition process that began a while ago. Mm-hmm. And it maybe ramps up in certain aspects or something. But yeah, I think definitely we're in the age of Aquarius, just as far as people, it's becoming more and more mainstream to kind of think left field, which is good and bad. So even with that, I would just encourage anybody to do their own research, because there's a lot of false information. There's a lot of bullshit, a lot of people that are fear-mongering, a lot of people that don't know what they're talking about. So I just say do your own research, try to find other people that do their own research and bounce ideas and see if you can get to a closer version of the truth. Mm-hmm. That's really all I could say about the age of Aquarius.
Makes sense. Did you pay attention to the protest that happened in Seattle back in summer? Did you participate in any of that stuff?
I did not participate. I mean, but I saw it. It was it's pretty crazy.
That's
yeah. Like, what about it?
I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of like misinformation there too. You know, mm-hmm. I feel like there's just almost too much information out there. But I don't know. I feel like it's easy to know what's real and false if you take a step back. You know, yeah. So I don't get why.
That's what we all. I feel like if we all take a step back and we start to really like, zoom out and see what's going on and just question the authority. Like, why is it how, what I'm saying? It's another part of it. A lot of authority pieces and figures people are realizing is not actually true, or they have an agenda behind what they say, mm-hmm. or, it's just like, they're not telling you anything that's real.
Yeah.
So again, like if anything else, because I remember during the protest, I'd watch like the live feeds sometimes, or, I have friends out there and stuff like that. And the news is so different than the actual stories that I heard from the actual people. And I don't know if a lot of people realize there's that discrepancy between the news and reality.
And social media, even.
Exactly. So, again, I would just encourage people to do their own research and really look at what's happening, and try to get to the bottom of it. A lot of people are busy, and people don't have time to research. So, if you can research, it'll only benefit, because you're going to get to a closer version of the truth.
Hell yeah. I like that you're not trying to give out your own, how you think things are, It's like, you don't want to.
I'm not trying to slay nobody. I'm like, don't worry about what I say. Do your own research and see if you can see what you can find.
Hell yeah.
Because I'm just a random guy. Who knows what I know? Who cares what I think,
So with this album, The Weatherman, is there like a certain time, like mind frame you want people to be in when they're listening to this album, like a certain mindset? Like, I've listened to a few albums, like, where there's literally like an intro where it says, if you can't spend 36 minutes with your undivided attention and listen to this album, don't listen to it right now. Like, is there something you kind of want people to be in when they're listening to your album?
I want people to, everything's different for people. I just want you to be comfortable when you listen to it. I can't have an expectation of you to listen to 42 minutes straight. But if you do, you'll have a certain experience. That's all I can really say. Like, you'll have a certain experience with it if you listen to it on mushrooms. You'll have a certain experience if you get really fucking high and listen to it. It's different in the car on a road trip. It's different if you listen to it, with headphones, like on your bed in the dark. Like, it's different. I encourage you to explore tons of different ways to listen to everything I make, because that's when you can like really, especially if you take time to listen to it. That's why I put so many layers into like the vocals and just sonically. I want there to be a different listen every time, mm-hmm. which there is. So, whatever helps to facilitate your undivided attention, or you having time to like actually digest it. That's all I care about.
Is there a reason that there's no features on it? Because is it more because you're trying to make certain points with the album versus having someone else put their mind into it, or?
That was kind of part of it. I just honestly, like, the process for those, like, that first batch of songs, those songs were done when I was pretty much by myself in Olympia. So it just wouldn't make sense to, like, bring somebody new into that world, because that was supposed to be, like, that was really, like, my time of, I don't know, like, Olympia, when I was out there, it was just really a tough time for me. So it was like my personal thing that I would put into, like, that's where Eagleguans came from, like the snow globe, and feeling like I was in a grid. I had 3 jobs and I was doing classes and I was just doing all this other shit besides art. And so my only, like, coming up for fresh air was, you know, like 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. me recording in my room. And so that was like my escape there. And so then fast forward, now I have those tracks and now the concept makes more sense and I can flesh it out. But there are features coming, like, in the future for, you know, as the rest of the project unfolds. Cause I definitely think that I want there to be a difference also, like the Weatherman, just me, and the future stuff more collaborative. It'll, you know, be different, which would just be a better listening experience, I think, too.
Mm-hmm. So does every title have, like, a meaning behind it? Because there's some crazy ass titles in there. Like, what the? How do you pronounce is it the parenthesis? What's the name of that one song?
Oh, it's just a sad face. I don't know why it
where's the dots?
It fucks up on, I think, YouTube.
Okay. Because I have YouTube Music. Maybe that's
I don't know why it's fucked up on. It's only on YouTube. It's fucked up. I'm gonna have to change the title to, like, just sad face or some shit like that. We'll figure it out.
It's a dope ass album, though.
Thank you.
What I gotta say. So, is there what have you learned about, like, your music and how to grow an audience from our first interview till now?
There's
I think you're the first, like, updated interview, actually.
Yeah.
I haven't done any, like.
Oh, the second one?
Yeah.
Nice. That's tight. Definitely just I feel like I'm just, like, way less hip to anything else that's happening. I just really am insulated in the creative process. So I'm not gonna ever be the person, like, I've studied this as far as, like, marketing, like direct to consumer marketing, like from the artist perspective and various things like that. And I hate it. I don't like the idea of personally marketing myself so that, but under the guise of me being relatable, you know, or me, hey everybody, how y'all doing? Like, I'm not that person. That's weird to me, because I'm not a person who has, like, a bunch of friends around anyways. Nobody checks up on me about shit, you know? So
I got you now. Don't worry.
No, I know. I'm talking about, like, in general. So it feels weird for me to go onto a phone and then pretend to do that to others.
Yeah.
And I've had people that are, like, even fans, like people from other countries hit me up like, yo, da-da-da, and I go back and forth with them. But it's like, I don't have the, it just feels weird to me because I don't have, like, in real life that happening. So when I go to, you know, it just feels weird. It feels off in that kind of sense. And I don't ever want to be fake or feel like I'm performing something unless it's on the stage. You feel me? But I'm not going to be out here, like, doing that. But that seems to be incentivized now with the marketing and people equating marketing to social media presence and all that stuff. I learned that it doesn't matter at all. You don't have to do no fucking fancy bullshit at all for social media. Just make the art, make it as fire as you can, and then put it out, and that's it. Like, it's not in my hands anymore. The music is out, so I can I don't know. I really just try not to. It's differently from before. I would think about how can I, you got to think about marketing and think about all this other shit. And I don't think about that at all. I just like make some fire artwork and put it out. And then I'm letting stuff just go by itself, which is always going to be more powerful than me saying, yo, buy my hat. But you already fuck with it. So if you go tell Rob that this hat is fire, I don't got to ever mention the hat. So same with the music. I don't need to be the one trying to like hawk my music. I don't like that. It's weird to me.
What's crazy is how fucking massive Coda's became like after I met you from his concert. Like, yeah. He's done some insane shit.
I honestly don't know about it, but I don't doubt it because I know he's independent and he's been on his own shit for a minute. I just literally don't know about what he does.
He's almost like mainstream now, which is kind of nuts, especially as an independent person.
Like, yeah, that's the thing, man. Like, it's fully possible. And I remember when I first met his manager, or was talking to somebody who knows his manager, he was saying that he just does everything himself. Like, and that's what I do. So on one level, it's inspiring to see like you can reach an audience. You don't need to be. People tend to think it's like Drake or bust, but like he has a very solid, real fan base that will always be there for him. And he didn't have to do no games or gimmick to do it. You don't be on social media like being weird.
Yeah.
So.
Have you been paying attention to like what's going on in the Seattle music scene though? There's some like pretty exciting. Oh,
I mean, let me know. I mean, I might have seen glimpses, but I really just focus on like me and my brothers and like what I do if I'm doing like a video for Astral Trap or recording Scully Vega, things like that. I'm not ever.
Do you think that puts you at a disadvantage though to not?
No, because. I remember when I was up here and I was in Seattle and I was part of the scene or whatever. It just isn't, like I said, like friends versus artists that you know. It's not necessarily like good business to be pretending to be friends with like other people that you're not even friends with. You know what I mean? It's just not even. It's not even a human, like a real human thing for me. I don't like to do that at all. It's like weird because it's like obviously you're only talking to me because you think that like it'll benefit you in some kind of way, and I don't think like that at all. Like I would go up to artists and they would look at me like I was a fucking like, like random, which I was. But like if somebody random comes to me, you already seen me, you know how I am. Like. I'm like, yo, what's up? Like who are you? You know what I mean? Like, it's a different kind of connection.
Yeah.
And so I don't, like, I just kind of stop paying attention to anything that's not, like, what I'm focusing on or my work.
Yeah.
Because, if we end up, like, something happens and we're working together on some shit, I'm always open to working. But, not looking to like just be around to be around.
Yeah, a lot of Seattle artists have already said that like COVID has put everyone back to like square one in a sense. Like the people that you did think were like huge artists in Seattle, you're starting to notice they're just kind of normal guys.
Like who? Who are the bigger artists?
Like do you follow like Macintosh?
I know Macintosh. Yeah,
Macintosh is dope. I just had Django. He's from Spokane, but like
I met him before.
There's this. I came into like the Seattle music scene though really late though, So like basically realistically I had October until March and then fucking COVID hit. So I wasn't really that big into like what's going on in the music scene. So but it's supposedly what it seemed like was a lot of, like fake people trying to connect with other artists and think that would help them. But realistically, like even those super big artists that people thought were big are kind of just stuck where everyone else is too, in a sense. Because a lot of people were making money and building up their image through these local music shows. So, I guess you're not. I don't know. I just feel like. We should have stayed more connected. I feel like I could have helped. I'm not saying you're not doing shit. You're definitely doing shit. But I feel like we had stayed more connected. Like I saw Colin once or twice, but like he's like in San Francisco or some shit doing culinary school. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like I could have helped you more. Some more like certain artists.
At the same time, I know that everybody is busy. I know myself. I haven't been like I'm available, but like I'm not like available like that. I'm working every single day from the moment I wake up until I have to fucking say, Carter, fucking close the fucking laptop and go to sleep because I have to do it again tomorrow. You know, I don't. Yeah, I don't like. I know everybody's busy. So I don't fault you or nobody. Like you're doing your shit. Like I see what's coming out. Like that's dope as fuck. I think that I really actually don't even think there's a disadvantage happening. I think the only disadvantage is when people think that they have to kind of stop doing things. All you can't do right now is do a big show.
Yeah.
That's literally all you can't do. So what else can you do? And that's where you got to be creative, and that's where I excel.
Yeah.
So I'm not really worried about shit.
Hell yeah, makes sense. Well, is there anything specific you want to say about your album in hopes that, what's a big message that you want people to get out of after listening to your album? I know you said it was kind of take a step back, but besides that, like if you could add like an end note, like an outro to your album right now, after everyone listened to the 42-minute project, what would you want people to hear you say?
It's not even raining. That's really it. Like it would do a disservice for me to try to sum it up. That's why I haven't like posted no long Instagram post or some explanation to the whatever, because it's not gonna actually be what it was to me making it. Just like what I had to pull from, and like people complain about isolation and quarantine during this time, and I can't see my friends. What about if you don't have no friends to see? Literally. So, that was not even during COVID. That's in Olympia. It was literally just me and Ellis working every day, just by ourselves. No going to the bars, no whatever people else do, like kick it at people's house. We don't do that. So. Yeah, I don't want to like paint it in a way that is pandering so that somebody wants to go listen to it. I do think is that the music speaks for itself. I don't think anything else. Like for me, a lot of my older shit, I don't know if you've heard it, but I'm a rapper. Like I'm a
Mitsubishi box.
But even before that, I was making that album just trying to make some weird shit. Like I used to be like not used to, but my roots are in like real technical rapping, like studying like you know, like Eminem, like Rakim, like studying like bars. Like that was my my beginning of making music. So with this, I really like Meet Me There, 2000 High, Million Miles Away, Pupils of Black Holes. It's really me but my challenge to myself was, how do I make something that's completely different that I've made before? I've made probably thousands of songs by now. So like a cool thing is, like I have music right now that's on a like Apple Music hip hop playlist, but also on Apple Music indie pop.
Wow.
And alternative. So that gives me, as an artist, I'm like, fuck, okay. So I can now for real like make some shit in all these different areas. So that kind of like excites me about the next shit coming up.
Hell yeah. So Carter, what is some advice that you have for up and coming artists, creators, influencers?
Really insulate yourself and step back and look at what you do uniquely and how you can maximize your unique qualities and how you can give and be of service to others. If you have a problem giving of yourself to others, you're not going to ever make it. And it's that simple. Like a lot of people don't understand that, but you have to give input, output, not expecting reciprocity or some equal thing coming from it, but you have to input. What are you inputting into the, equation? I think of like what I would tell myself if I was, younger, starting out again, I would say like literally insulate yourself and make your own sound. Do what you like and don't consider anybody else, especially as an independent artist. A lot of independent artists are not independent. They're dependent artists. Mm-hmm. They have a codependent relationship upon everybody else around them. They want to call themselves independent, but yet they're not independent because they need this person, this person, this person, this artist to talk about them, this artist to feature, all this other shit. But put them by themselves in a room, what is going to be done? A lot of artists will not be able to actually get it going. I be in my room, just me. So it can actually, like, the more you do it, it's only going to benefit you.
Hell yeah. And what's the easiest way for people to reach you?
Man, send me an email, sillycap@gmail.com. Instagram, it's not even raining. That's pretty much it.
There we go.
Yeah, man.
It's the NAST Podcast with
Carter Wilson.
We did it.